What is up, y'all? It's Grant with another episode of the Gooey Files here. And today, the topic is how will we look, but how will the masses look back on Mr. Morale? So, as this being probably I think this is the out of the last 5 albums Kendrick has dropped, this is probably the least most commercially not accessible, least commercially successful. And so the reason why I'm revisiting this entirely, because I did write something about it, I'm revisiting this entirely because of the Drake and Kendrick beef. And one thing I want to keep in mind is that I think Kendrick is really good at making slow burners. And when I say he's really good at making slow burners, I mean not like shit like Good Kid, Mad City or To Pimp a Butterfly. I remember there were people that did not like those initially, but also there were definitely people that were like, this is an instant classic album. Damn is one of those albums that's kind of like, people didn't really like how, the Kendrick fans didn't really like how commercially accessible it was, because you come from that to Pimp a Butterfly, but also as time went on, I think people appreciated that, and I think people will do that with Mr. Morale as well. However, it's some points on this album where I feel like, as high as the highs are, like United in Grief, that's incredible. Father Time, incredible. Rich Spirit, Count Me Out, Crown, Mirror, Savior, Mother I Sober. All of that shit is incredible. But there's like some thematic stuff that I just like. It just really weighs it down, like Auntie Diaries, for example. Like, I appreciate Kendrick talking his experience and showing his support. However, the use of the F word, like, I feel like he could have got his point across without doing that. But at the same time, it's kind of really not up to me to decide if that's acceptable or not. Like, it's up to that community. Now, with that being said, I still don't like using Kodak as a muse on this album. Because I feel like it could have been a lot better choices, and I don't agree with putting the abuser on the album to denounce abuse at the end. Let's see, I'm trying to think about more. Worldwide Steppers, as jarring as it is, and how uncomfortable, I ain't going to even say uncomfortable, but as jarring as it is, I feel like that's one of Kendrick's better rapper performances. He kind of flexes like the 3K influence, but kind of puts his own swag to it, and I really, really love it, even though the transparency is there. I think overall, Mr. Morale, love it or hate it, I know how people feel about Kendrick, but I don't think any mainstream rapper could do what he does. Even if I think the execution of certain concepts is very weird or just bad. I feel like Mr. Morale is, I honestly think it will be looked back on as a cult classic. I'm not with the classic argument that, because there's so much weighing it down. But at the same time, the peaks are so high. So I think it'll be looked back on as a cult classic. Like, people will be like, yeah, this is good, but like, it will look great to the Kendrick fans and the Kendrick community, but I feel like overall to the rap community, I'm not sure how many people will come around to it, even though I do think it has an impact already. Plenty of cases of people saying, you know what, this was my therapy, or I decided to go to therapy for this. Uh, Now, I hate to be, I ain't gonna say I hate to be negative, but to the negative part of the video that I want to touch on is, now that the rap beef, the Kendrick Drake beef is kind of passed, was this an album used just as a plot device to eventually go into a beef, or was it kind of like a mutual thing, or was it like, hey, I'm putting this out just to go ahead, I get everything out, I get all the skeletons out of my closet before I take on the biggest rapper in the world? And that's one thing I kind of think about from a day-to-day basis. Is kind of not day-to-day, but that's one thing I kind of think about. I'm kind of like, did he intentionally do this so down the line, if he wanted to go at him head on, he could do it? Or was it like, no, I really want to do this, and it just kind of like, you know what? Now that I got that out the way, I actually can really go. I can really go at him. So I kind of wonder if I'm kind of wondering both. You know what I'm saying? Like, and also like the amount of disses in the past to Drake that people kind of realize what their disses now, or something that people miss. Like, for example, a ton of people miss Rich Spirit. I even miss Rich Spirit. You ain't gotta lie, I kind of figured about that one. Like, it's other songs that were kind of obvious, but I did like Rich Spirit kind of being more of like he's actually dissing him. And I think it's become a fan favorite of Mr.Morale, because I really like that melodic type of Kendrick type of thing. But not to mention that You Gotta Love Me, if that ever made the album, I would have loved that song even more. But in short, I think people would look back on Mr.Morale and think, right now, I think people have it as a cult classic, but I can't see it be looked back on as a classic album. But other than that, I appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Y'all be easy.